Autoridades del gobierno y miembros de la Coalición Internacional contra la Detención exploran alternativas a la detención de migrantes en situación irregular. El director de la coalición y la titular de la Organización Sin Fronteras hablan sobre el tema.
Mexico is particularly important because of the numbers of people detained. I mean, Mexico has a mandatory detention system, immigration detention system. It has a strong influence of policies throughout the region of neighbouring countries. And also Mexico speaks very strongly at the United Nations about human rights, about the treatment of migrants, the treatment of children. The practice here is, however, quite different quite often. And I think we felt it's very important that we actually come and present what is actually happening, what is the evidence around the impact of detention, which is that it's very damaging, and also that many governments are moving away from detaining. So in fact, Mexico is using a model of detaining migrants that many countries are no longer using. The assumption that migrants may be a security concern, that governments around the world are now using more advanced tools to identify people when they arrive, so you actually can release them into the community. So Mexico is a priority for us. We know there are large numbers of vulnerable groups detained, and that it's very important that the government's aware of the alternatives.
Tiene que ver mucho con el seguimiento a un modelo de política migratoria que viene desde Estados Unidos y en el cual se prioriza la detención sobre cualquier otra posible alternativa que pueda tener población en tránsito, principalmente en nuestro país, que como bien se señalaba es el flujo más importante que hay en México y que uno de los retos que se ha plasmado cuando se habla de alternativas a la detención en nuestro país es lo difícil que resulta hablar de alternativas para población en tránsito.
It's a challenge for Mexico, but it's also a challenge for a number of other countries. It's a challenge we've just been working in the border of the European Union. My country, I'm from Australia, so I've been working in Indonesia, which is also a transit country, large numbers travelling. So in Turkey and Indonesia, we've seen the governments there implement alternatives, particularly for vulnerable groups, for families and others, for women who are at risk and those who are unwell, for asylum seekers, refugees. So Turkey, for example, which has large numbers of people moving upwards to Europe, they have a very interesting alternative, which is that they allow, instead of detaining groups, they will let them remain in a city. They can work in the city, but they must remain in the city. So the incentive for them is that they should not, if they move on, they will lose certain rights while their case is being decided.